Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Simply BI. My name is Harshit and today we are going to learn about the aggregated DAX functions in Power BI. Now you can see here that we have all of these list of functions which you can use in the aggregated DAX functions. Okay. So today we are going to learn few of the functions. Okay. You can see I have tick marked whatever we are going to learn today. So let us start with the average function. Okay. So what does this average functions do? So basically it calculates the arithmetic mean of the set of numbers. To note one thing, it ignores the non-numeric values and the empty cells. Okay. And what is the syntax here? So you can see that syntax here is average. Then you have to enter the column name. Now let us see this in Power BI. Okay. So now here I'm going to see I have created an average column over here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how it is done. Okay. So just give me a second. Let me add a visual here so that it is easy to visualize. Okay, great. So let's understand, let's see our data in the form of table first. Okay, so here I am going to add a sales ID. Okay, I don't want the count of it, so I'll just click it, don't summarize. Then I'll add product name over here. Then I'll add the total revenue. I don't want the sum of revenue, so I'll add it as don't summarize. And then is active. Okay, great. Now I have this four columns over here. Okay. Now what I want is I want to calculate the average. So how can we do that? Let's create a measure first. Okay. Right click on this, click on new measure. Now measure name I am giving as total revenue average. Okay, which is equals to nothing but just type average. Okay, select average and then it will ask you to select the column name, and here our column name is revenue. Just type revenue and click on this, close the curly braces, close the bracket. Okay, small bracket, and then click on enter. Great. Now you can see a measure has been created in the right side. Okay, in your data table. Now I want to visualize this. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to select a visual. Let's say I'm going to select a card. And here in this card, I'll drag and drop this measure. So here you can see that a total revenue average is 170. Now let's copy this table and understand about the concept of average A. Okay. So what, let me just copy this visual. Okay, let me just paste it over here. Now let us understand what is average A over here. Okay, so average A, it is very similar to average, but it includes the non-numeric values like text, like logical values in the calculation. Okay, and it is having a similar syntax as we saw of average. Okay, so let us see how it works. So now in the average, what we did was we calculated the average over here, right? And so let's try to modify the formula. Let's try to see something. Okay, so here we saw that total revenue average. We put the average formula and then we calculated the average for this revenue column. Now, if I change the column name, okay, and let's say I name the column name as product. Okay. So if I select product over here and if I click on commit, okay, so you can see it says we cannot display the visual. Why? Let's see the details. Okay. It says the function average cannot work with the value string type. Okay. It cannot work with the string. Now let's see one more thing. In the last column is active column. There are Boolean values. Okay. Let's see, does it work in Boolean values as well? So we just name it as is active. Just a second, is active. Okay. Now click on commit. Great. Now it again says it cannot display the visual. The function average cannot work with the values of type Boolean. Okay. Great. I hope this is clear. Now let's change it to revenue only. And okay. Great. I hope this is clear. Now let's change it to revenue only, and then we go to is average A. Okay. Revenue. Great. Great. So what we saw here in average A, it is similar to, the syntax is similar to average, but here it includes the values like text also and logical values in the calculation. Let's see how it goes. So here we have copied the same table. Okay. And now I'm going to create another measure. Let's say this time we are going to name the measure as total revenue, but this is average A. So we will write AVG and A. Okay. This is equals to, we'll write formula average A and then we have to select the column name. So we are let's just select the revenue column only first. Okay. Once you select it and then close here, great. Your this is created. Okay. Measure is created. Now let's take a visual. Let's build a visual over here and see the data. So now I'm going to select a card. Okay. And I'm going to drop this average A over here. Okay. So let me just see what name this is average A. Yes. Drag and drop. And here you can see the total revenue. Now, as I said, that average A, it includes the text also. It includes the Boolean values also. So let's check with that. Now, let's select the product column. Okay. Let's select the product column. Average. And here is the product column. Now, comment it. Okay. So here you can see that we are not getting any error, but we are getting a zero average. Okay. Because the average A function, it also includes the text. Now, let's say let's check with the is active column as well. So we are very much sure that, okay, how average A works. Okay, is active. Great. Now click on commit. Now you can see that the average A column works with Boolean values as well. Average A function works with Boolean values as well. Okay. So there were 3 true values. So for every true value, it counts as 1, and for false values, it counts as 0. So 3 true values, 3 plus 2, 0. 3 plus 0, 2 times is 3 divided by 5 is 0.6. So here you can see how this works. Great. Now let us understand about the average x column, average x function. Okay. So average x function, here you can see there's a slight change in the syntax. Here, what you need to do is you need to enter the table name after you have entered the average x formula, and then you have to enter the expression. Okay. Now, one thing to note here is that this function, it calculates the average of a expression evaluated for each row in the table. So now, before digging into that average x in Power BI, let us understand it over here. Let's say I have a total total quantity. Okay. And I have one column as unit price. Okay. Great. So now let's say I have total quantities as 10, 11, 12. Okay. And in the unit price, let's say I have 3, 4, and 5. Now, what this average X will do? Okay. I want the average of the total sales. So first I need to, what it does is, let's say first we create a total sales column. Okay. So this total sales column will be nothing but it will be the product of total quantity and the unit price of each quantity. Okay. So just do this. Great. Now we have the total sales for each of the row. Okay. Now if we do it, if we sum it, let's sum this, and we're just going to select these. Great. So we have 134. Now if I want to calculate the average X, so average X will be nothing but it will be 134 divided by 3, which will be equal. Just a second. I did not put the equal to operator over here. Just a second. Equal to 134 divided by 3. So this value here, it will be your average X for the total sales. Great. Now let us visualize this in the Power BI. Now, let's say we have this table over here. Okay, average X table I have created. So, okay, it says column name. So let's just quickly go here and transform the data. We go to this query editor. We go to this average X column, and then we will just use the first row as the headers. Okay, great. Now we'll close and apply. Great. So now here you can see the name of the columns of this average X table. Now let's first create a table and then we will visualize this. Okay. So I'm just going to use a visual. Let's say I'm going to first create a table. Okay. So here I have the product ID. Then I have the unit price. Okay. I don't want the sum of it. I'll not do the sum. And then I have the unit sold. Okay. Again, I don't want the sum. Great. So now for this, I want to calculate the average of the total, okay, sales. So let's see how we can do this. So now, okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a measure, okay, here, and I'll name this measure as total sales. Great. Now here, I'm going to use the average X function. So just select this average X function over here. Now table name is average X only. I'll take it. Then what I want is I want the expression. So here I want unit price multiplied with the units sold. So average X unit price multiplied with unit sold. Great. And then click on commit. Great. Now you can see our measure has been created. Now let's build a visual and check whether our data is correct or not. So what we are going to do, we are going to select a card over here. Okay, and then just I'm going to drag and drop this total sales. Okay, so this is the value which I am getting 1.17K. Great. Now this was about the average functions, average, average X, and average A functions in DAX. Now let us move ahead and understand about the count functions. So before we move to the count function, okay, let me just showcase you about a data which I'm going to use over here. So here you can see that I have a sales summary database. Okay, sales summary data I have over here. There is a country column, product column, quantity sold, year of sales, sales date, unit price, gross sales, and many more. Now you can see here we have a country column, and here there are some missing values. Same if you see here in the quantity sold column, there are some missing values over here, right? And if you see, there are total of 49 rows in my table. Now what we are going to do, we have loaded this data into the Power BI. Now let's go to Power BI. So here I'm going to see the count of it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this table over here, sales summary. Okay. So now let me just first create a table over here. Okay, for sales summary so that it will be easier for us to visualize this. So we want the country, then we want the product, and then we want is target achieved. We want the gross sales. We want the color. Let's take every column, profit, quantity sold, sales date, okay, segments, unit cost, unit price, and year of sales. Great. So now we have so many columns over here. And what I want is, I don't want the sum of it. Okay, I just want the, I don't want to summarize it. So I'll just make these changes over here. Okay. It's already to don't summarize. So here also I'll make the changes. And by default, take the sum value of it. So you need to just make sure that you don't summarize it if you don't want to. Okay. Else it will show you the summarized value of it. Great. Now I have this table over here. Okay. And you can see there are some null values there are some null values in the color column. There are some null values in the country column and so on. Okay. So what I'm going to do here, as you saw in the Excel sheet that there were 49 rows. So I'm just going to do one thing. I'm just going to count the, let's say I'm going to use the count function to count the total products. Okay. Let's do that. Let me just move this table a bit. Okay, so I'm going to create a measure first. Okay, so here I'll create a new measure and I'll write total products. Okay, which will be equals to, let's say, count function I'm going to use. And here I'm going to count the product. So how many products are there? Okay, so this is in our products is in our sales summary column, sales summary table. So we'll just select this, close the open bracket. Great. Now a measure has been created. Let's visualize this measure as well. So here we just select a card over here. Okay. Great. Now let me just minimize this a bit. Yeah. And then I'm just going to drop this total products. So you can see I have total 49 products in my table. Great. Now this is how the count function works in Power BI. Okay. But let's do one thing. Let's change the column name. Okay. So I'm just going to change the column name to, let's say, country. Okay. Country. Here, there were some missing values, right? There were some null values here. So I'm just going to click OK. And here you can see that the total products here now is 47. So what did we saw here, that count function, it only counts the values over here. It doesn't include the null values over there. Okay, while counting. Now you can see that we have 47. Let's say that I want to count the is target achieved. Okay, so let's edit it to is target achieved column, and then we will see. Great. So here you can see it has all the values. So it is counting all the values. But again, let's go to this color column. Okay, great. If I select this color column and click on enter, you can see it is showing me 43 total products. Now, why is this showing? Because there are some null values in this products, in this colors column. Great. Now, let us see one more thing. Okay, let me just copy this visual first, and then we'll see the count A function. Okay. So while we talk about the count A function, what does it do? It takes count A function. Okay. It counts the total number of cells in a column that are not empty. Okay. So here you can see that in this country column over here. Okay. So we have 47 cells, which are 47 rows, which are not empty. Now let's check for this color column. Okay. How many cells are not empty? So if I just select this color column over here and click on enter. Okay. So here you can see that 43 of the columns, 43 of the rows in the color column is not empty. Great. Now this is how you can see that this count A function works. Great. Now let us see something about the count X function. Now, what does this count X function generally do? Let's see that. So count X functions, it counts the total number of rows that contains a non-blank value or an expression that evaluates to a non-blank value. Okay. So that is, it just like it works like a count function only. Okay. But it is used to iterate the rows in a table, and it counts the rows where the specified result is a non-blank result. Let's see how it works in Power BI. So let us understand it with the help of an example. You can see I have a context table over here. Okay, let me just visualize this table for you. So we have this product ID over here, and we have this unit sold over here. Now I don't want the sum of this, so I'll just click on this, don't summarize. Great. Now this table here is giving me an data of my products and the quantity of the product sold, how many units are sold. Now, what I want is I want the count of the units sold which is greater than 100. Okay. So you can see I have 120, I have 150 and 110 are the units sold which are above 100. So I want the count of this. So how can I achieve this? So here we will use the count X function. Let's see how to do that. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to right click on this, click a measure, click new measure. So here we'll write the column name as count of units sold. Great. Equals to, now we'll use the count X function. Okay. Here we are going to name the table, count table name, count X, and we are going to enter an expression. If we are going to write a condition that if units sold, okay, is greater than 100, then count 1. Okay. And then we'll close this small bracket. Great. Enter it. Now a measure has been created. Now let's visualize this. Okay. With the help of a card. I don't know why I'm getting this option to again and next select this. Okay. Now I'll click on this visual and I'll just drag and drop this over here. So you can see that I have the count over here. Great. Now let's understand something about the count blank. Okay. So what does the count blank do? It counts the total number of rows which are blank in your table. So here we are going with the sales summary table. Okay. And let's visualize this table here. Okay. So I'm just going to select this table here. Sales summary. Where? Yes. Okay. Great. So now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to find the total blank values, okay, blank rows. So we are going to use the count blank function. So how to do this? Click on new measure, total blank rows. Okay, we will name this equals to count blank, and just we want to name the column name. So we'll add the country column first. Okay, so country column, and then close this. Enter. A measure has been created, total blank rows. Now visualize this. So how can we do that? We just add a visual, just go to build a visual, select one of the visuals, let's say card, okay. And here I'm just going to drag and drop total blank rows. So here I can see that I have two blank rows in the country column. Same thing you can do permutation combination with all other columns as well. You can check out like which columns has how many blank values and how many distinct values. Okay, great. How many values are there, how many rows are there, and how many blank rows are there. Okay. Great. So this was so that's it for this video, guys. I hope the first part of this video is clear to everyone. In the next part of the video, we are going to learn more on the aggregated functions. Okay, so if you have any doubts, if you have any suggestions, please post your doubts in the comment section below, and I will be happy to help. Okay, so that's it for this video. Like and subscribe for more.